From MySing Media, this is AboveStatus. I want to thank you for joining me today. I'm your host, Myford MySing. AboveStatus is about sharing real, raw, and inspiring stories of young immigrants and uplifting conversations with activists, professionals, and politicians. The amazing thing about this podcast is that it is unedited and unfiltered conversations. Join us as we dive deep into personal journeys, explore challenges, and celebrate the triumphs of those redefining success. Today on the show, I had the chance to chat with Alex Anaya. He is a young immigrant who moved from Mexico to Canada, and his story is all about resilience and adaptability. Alex's journey shows how much a disciplined upbringing and family influence can shape someone's life. He talked a lot about his dad, who taught him discipline, hard work, and responsibility from when he was just a kid. We discussed Alex's early years in Tampico, Mexico, his private schooling, and the influence of his grandparents, especially through golfing. He shared his decision to leave Mexico after graduating in marketing from Tec de Monterrey, and the excitement and challenges of starting over in Vancouver. He shared his transition from selling umbrellas in Vancouver to entering the trucking industry, highlighting how his attention to detail and customer service skills contributed to his success. Alex stressed adaptability, a desire for growth, and constant reinvention influenced by his father's high standards. His insights emphasize that dedication and pride are essential in any job. Alex discussed navigating the complexities of divorce and parenthood. Throughout our conversation, Alex emphasized the importance of staying connected with family, maintaining optimism, and not allowing fear of the unknown to hinder your personal growth. It was a conversation marked by warmth, wisdom, and sincerity. My only regret is that I wish the conversation was much longer. I invite you to join us for an honest and heartfelt look into one immigrant's remarkable journey. Let's get into it. Thank you for joining us, Alex. It's going to be an interesting show, and I can't wait to learn a little bit more about you.
Thank you for having me today here, Myford.
All right, so how was your week?
It was good. It was good. Cold, Toronto, it's been doing its best to not get rid of the snow yet, so we'll see how it goes next week.
You recently moved to Toronto from
Vancouver, yeah. I was in Vancouver for about 12 years. Now I recently moved here, and it's been fun. It's been nice. It's been a challenge weather-wise, but it's good. It's been good so far.
You went out the other day and you said that you enjoyed the cold. Why?
I did. I'm a person that kind adapts to everything. I try not to complain, so try to see the good and the bad. And when I was in Vancouver, it probably snowed 2 to 3 times a year. Mm-hmm. I was fed up with the rain. It was too much rain. Before, when I was in Vancouver, I was actually working for a company called Vancouver Umbrella. Mm-hmm. I was a sales manager for over 11 years.
Selling umbrellas?
Selling rain umbrellas. So every time I'd see cloudy skies and rainy, it was like for me raining money. So
wow,
can't complain.
It was like money falling from the sky.
It was.
Awesome. So tell me a little bit about your childhood. How was it like growing up?
It was good. It was really good. I used to live around the block of my grandparents on my mother's side. We were really close to them. Every Sunday we would go for breakfast out of the restaurant. We would go to church. We would go for lunch. And I was really close to my grandparents. Every summer I would go to the beach or go playing golf.
That's fancy, playing golf.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Must have had a lot of money.
it wasn't a really fancy golf course. Back home, there's this golf course who was owned by a big company of oil, which is called Pemex.
Okay.
My grandfather used to work there as a manager, and same my uncles used to work there also at Pemex. And slowly I got into golfing because of my grandfather. I started when I was about 8 years old. He would take me to the driving range and he would get me a coach to teach me like tips and everything on my swing. And yeah, it's something that I'm very passionate still till my 36 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. So you would say your grandparents basically got you into golf.
Yeah. Yeah. My grandfather, he definitely, me and my brother took us every time he had a chance. And that was until we were even high school or university. He would go with us, shoot some golfs at the driving range, and then he would just go to the bar, have a beer. We'll wait for us, and then we will all go home around 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
So growing up with your grandparents, you guys were really, really close. That's in Mexico.
That's in Mexico.
Where in Mexico?
It's called Tampico.
Tampico.
It's on the Gulf of Mexico, now Gulf of America.
Okay.
However you
I
wanna
have my
call it.
reservations, but
Yeah. So, yeah, it's about a 5 or 6 hour drive from the border to Brownsville. Hot weather, 35, 40 degrees when it gets really, really hot. And I used to live about 6 kilometers out from the beach. I used to go there every summer or during spring break. And it's something that you definitely, when you don't have it, that's when you realize what you've missed. Because I was not a big fan of going to the beach. It was until I was in my late 20s that it hit me of how lucky I was when I was there, and I hated the sand in my feet. You know, it's like you start sweating and it just get all sticky.
yeah.
But yeah, I think it's part of growing up and maturing that you realize what was the best when you were younger, and then you put everything in a balance, and you were like, yeah, I had this and I just didn't realize it.
Interesting. Speaking of having something and you didn't know what you have, how was it at school? Education in Mexico.
So I always went to a private school. It was actually bilingual.
Another fanciness.
Yeah. It was called Columbia School. And it was bilingual. It was a good school. I was not mischievous or anything. I was a good student.
You sure?
Yeah. But it was I had a really strict father at home. My dad, he was at the time he was a doctor, he was a pediatrician. He's now retired, and my mom was a psychologist. And she worked at the university, and she was like the head board of psychologist career.
Wow.
So because I had a really strict father, I was a bit mischievous at school. So I would get like detention or so. Because at home I had to be well behaved because of my father.
Yep.
He would give me,
Tough love.
Yeah. And that was my way for me to kind of blow some steam when I was with my friends.
With your friends.
Yeah, but I was a good student.
So tell me, your college years, how did that go? So did you go to college in Mexico or a different country?
Yes, I graduated from marketing in Mexico. I went to a university called Tec de Monterrey, which is a private university, and it's one of the best ones in Mexico. It's considered a fancy university, and the only way for me to go there was with a scholarship, high school and university. So it was a bit stressful. I won't say it wasn't, because it was. Um, I had the chance to go to the school where my mom was working and pay only at 10% of the tuition. But my father decided to give us the best, and the best was going to Tec de Monterrey, getting a scholarship, and still getting like a big payment for tuition. It's something that it was about 8 years of stress, keeping good grades and everything.
Yeah,
But I think in a way that helped me form my character. It's tough love, but it's something that it helped me mature and value a lot of the sacrifice that parents do for their kids.
that's good. Sometimes we do need that tough love because our parents know what's best for us, and at the moment we may not know the gravity of what they are doing for us
Yeah.
or have a full understanding of the entire situation. We just see our little inconveniences and think that we know it all, but
Yeah.
sometimes you need a strong person in your life to basically put you back on track, or just keep you from going off the rails.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. It's my dad. He was definitely with my mother, but mostly my dad. He was always the guy who was keeping us in track. And I think his work and being a doctor, it's a lot of stress, because he was dealing with babies. He would work Tuesday, Fridays, and Sundays at night. So I remember him leaving at 8:30 at night and getting back home at 7:30 in the morning, exhausted. Like, I have the picture here of my parent coming through the stairs of the house and just surrendered. It
Wow.
was it was
Just
like,
crash.
yeah, yeah. And it wasn't until I went to Canada and got my first paycheck that I actually value what the sacrifice of working was. It just like hit me.
Wow. So your first paycheck was a lot of work.
Yeah, so my first paycheck, it was well, I did work construction for 3 weeks, but it was something until I was waiting for my work permit. But once I got my work permit, I got a job at the Blaine's Coffee Shop in Vancouver, which is some sort of a Starbucks, and they gave me my payment for 2 weeks. It was at the time around $700, and I remember, wow, $700. I felt rich.
Uh-huh.
But instead of spending it and like going partying and whatever, it just hit me, and I was like, you know what, I need to save. I'm gonna start saving.
That's good.
And that's
That's
when
good.
I decided that I was gonna start saving my money and do something productive with it.
Let's go back to moving to Canada. At what age did you move to Canada, and why Canada, and what drove you to make that decision
So I graduated in December 2011 from marketing in Mexico.
in Mexico?
And then that last semester, one of my friends, she told me, hey, there's some sort of company here in the school that they are sending people towards the US, Australia, Canada. And it's programs where you study and you work as well.
Okay.
So I was curious. So it was my friend and one of her friends and myself, the ones that were really interested. It was the three of us. From the three, it was only me, the one who ended up making the decision to go. It was hard because you had to pay a tuition to get a visa, a work visa. So it's an expense, right? But I did tell my dad, hey, there's this option if I want to go once I graduate. And it was like a 40-week program, 20 weeks studying and 20 weeks working. So he said, you know what? Yeah, go ahead. My dad, he always wanted me to go overseas to study. When I was in college, I remember he mentioned we should go to Georgetown University. And in my mind, I always wanted to go to UCLA, but it was so expensive. It was something that it was, in my reality, not going to happen at the time. So it didn't happen. But when I got the chance to go to Canada, he's like, you know what, let's do it. We'll help you with the tuition. I did the paperwork, got the work visa and my passport and everything. By the beginning of December, he purchased me the flight. And January 6, 2012, I came to Canada.
I know you were very close to your parents and your grandparents.
Yeah.
How was it like leaving them behind? Like, how did you deal with that?
So from my mom's side, which was my grandparents that I was really close, when I was in college, both my grandma and then my grandfather passed away within a 1-year difference. So it was actually something really, really hard on me, experiencing someone dying in my family, because I've never seen anything like that. Not even a friend, you know? So it actually hit me also that life can change you in a blink of a second. So they passed away and I graduated a couple years after, and I was really excited about coming here to Canada. I wasn't thinking about how much I was going to miss my parents. But once I got to Vancouver and I was living by myself, I had to cook for myself. I had to do my laundry, buy my groceries, pay my rent, pay my bills. It kind of gets you because you're so used to your family, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And there's two sides of this. Either you can be really productive and overcome that, or you can be the other part of maybe being weak and decide that that's not what you want because you want the easy way.
Yeah.
And the easy way is staying home. Yeah. So I didn't want that. And I wanted my parents to be really like appreciative of what I've done, right?
Proud of you?
Yeah, proud of me. So I miss them for sure. And the first year when I got there, at 6 months after I got to Canada, I went back to visit them. And I realized that my hometown was not where I wanted to be. So I was so used to the culture here.
Okay.
That I was like, this is where I belong.
In Canada?
In Canada.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it could be incredibly difficult to start new in a country that you don't have anyone or any support. How was it finding housing? I know my wife and I went through hell trying to find a place to stay because you don't have a credit history, or you don't have a job, or you don't have a job history yet. Even though you have a job, they still want to see previous employers. How was it trying to start new in Canada?
So for me, the first month, I got into a homestay, and about the third week that I was in the homestay, I started looking for a place in the downtown. I have to say, when I came to Canada, there was a person also from Tampico that I didn't know of. But at the time, he contacted me, and it's like, "Hey, I'm in Vancouver as well, and I'm looking for a roommate." So I asked mutual friends. They knew him. They told me he's a nice guy, everything. So we ended up looking for a place together. I was lucky, and well, we both were lucky. They didn't ask for that many references. It was only passport and your legal status. So we proved that we had a study permit. That was it. That was about it. But I do remember seeing a lot of my friends getting scammed. And this was on Craigslist. People would post about, "Hey, I'm renting this condo. I'm out of the country right now, but I'll send you the key. Send me a deposit," and it's a scam.
Wow.
So even now, people are still trying to do that. That's no. That's a red flag for anyone trying to come to Canada. Someone saying that they're overseas, but they'll send you. No, there's nothing.
do not do it.
Yeah. And I think the best is when you're coming here and you cannot prove your credit score or anything. I think the best is proof that you have your study permit or a work permit. Financial statement might be also like some sort of support. But yeah, I do know it's hard at the beginning, but I think for me, renting a place, that was it. It was only showing my study permit, and that was about it. My passport.
That's good.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for making it through the first 15 minutes of this episode. This tells me you are enjoying our conversation so far. But I do have a quick favor to ask. Please pause now, take a 2-minute break to like and subscribe to our podcast. After you finish this episode, I would love if you could tell us what you think of our show. Your support helps us share these powerful stories and reach even more people. In return, we promise to continue improving the show, bringing you the most genuine, unfiltered, and inspiring conversations possible. If you or anyone you know would like to share your unique story, we would love to have you on the podcast. Please send us a message through your favorite social media platform at AboveStatus. So you were a salesman.
I was.
How good of a salesman are you? Can you sell me water from the ocean?
You know what? So the experience that I had was with this company called Vancouver Umbrella. And it's so funny because I would go to so many stores. Back in Vancouver, there was these stores called London Drugs, Urban Fairs, Shoppers,
Yeah.
IGAs. So my biggest account was London Drugs. There's no London Drugs here
No,
on this
not
side.
on this
But
side.
there's a lot in BC and Alberta. And it's similar to some sort of like a Walgreens in the US. I would go to the store, kind of fix the umbrella rack, make the count of umbrellas. Someone would come and he's like, "Hey, I'm looking for an umbrella. What do you recommend?" I think 9 times out of 10, when I did a pitch sale to one of the customers, they would get that umbrella. And the reason for that was, what happens when it's raining? Many of the umbrellas, when it's windy,
Yes,
they open the other way.
Oh my
right?
goodness.
So we had this umbrella called a fiberglass. It was a fiberglass frame. There was one that it was a straight handle, and then there was one which was a 48-inch and a 52-inch with a curved handle. So they would ask me, what's the best umbrella? What would you recommend? So I would grab one of these fiberglass frames. I would open the umbrella and try to open it like pretty hard, just to make it look like it was the wind. So I'm like, this is a fiberglass frame. This won't break. And I would just like do it the example. I said, oh wow, that's a reaction. Oh wow, that's the best. It was like 1999. Sold.
Wow.
So many times it did happen. And one thing that I miss about that job is interacting with my customers. There was so many stores that I built really good relationships. They knew me, I knew them, and it was not about, oh, this is Dave, oh, this is Roger, this is Louis.
Yeah.
Some of them would actually take their time and ask about me. Ask me about where I was from, what I was doing here, if I had family, if I had friends, if I had a girlfriend, wife, whatever. And not everyone does that. So it made me feel kind of special, but it also made me, you know what? That's important when you're a sales guy.
Yeah.
You need to know your customer.
Exactly.
So I built strong relationships, and I think that's what I miss the most, like the interaction face to face. Because now that I've transitioned into trucking, everything is through email. Okay. Everything is through text messages. And on occasions, it's with a phone call. Okay. It's different, right? Trucking and sales, it's a completely different area. But it helped me in a way. I managed above 300 accounts. It was quite a lot of accounts that I managed. And in a way, my transition towards trucking helped me kind of be organized to what a dispatcher does.
Okay.
Because you need to plan, right? You need to plan this trip for this driver, this truck for this. And it's like a game with different puzzles. Yeah. I was good when I was at sales at building my own routes. Seeing this customer, I knew which store was busy, which wasn't busy, which one I would have to go once or twice or 3 times a week, which one I could just phone, which one I should go and visit. It just helped me understand the business. And that was a family business. It was a business that had a lot of potential. But I think the problem there as a family business was that sometimes they forgot they were a business and they were functioning as a family.
That's not good.
There were so many times that there was the desk of my boss there, the wife there, daughter on this side, and I would be here on my computer, and it was just screaming.
Of course.
Like a family.
What a crazy environment.
And it just made me laugh because they were just behaving as a family, not as a business. So eventually I knew that was it for me. I reached a point where that was it. There was no more growth for me. There was no more challenge, and I felt stuck. When the opportunity came for me to go towards trucking and prove myself by being a different area, that it was something that I could do, I was like, you know what, I'll do it, and I'll do my best.
Changing from sales to trucking, that's quite a big shift.
Yeah.
How did you pull it off?
You know what, my Ford, I think if you have the hunger, if you have that willingness to learn, like the way you learn a hobby or anything, if you want to feel productive, and you want to learn new things, and you feel like, you know what, this is something that I could do, if you give all your energy and focus on that, there's a good chance that you're going to succeed, right? Because everything is based on how hard you work. There's no such thing as easy things coming. There's shortcuts. There's cheaters. But if you want to be someone in life, you gotta work. You gotta work. That's the bottom line, right? So I knew I was good with people. I knew I was good at being organized. I knew I was good at keeping my deadlines. So I gave it a try, gave it a shot, and it turned out to be that I'm good for that.
You were cut out for
Yeah.
it. So what do you like the most about trucking?
I think it's the fact that every day it's different. And one thing here is that it's not only me. The thing is that I'm relying on the drivers. So there's many pieces that need to work together. I can be doing my part. But if tomorrow a driver, for some reason, let's say today, he drove a bit too much, he's got a trip tomorrow, and he calls in sick, well, I'm the one giving,
Yeah,
getting yelled at, right?
yeah,
Because
yeah,
there's a customer expecting a container. So in a way, I can be doing my job, my boss can be doing her job, but if the driver it's not willing to work with
to
us,
work. Yeah,
it's like a table. It's got 4 legs. If one of the legs it's kind of loose, it falls down. Every day is different, so every day is a different challenge. But most of the days it goes smooth. That's a good thing.
that's good. That's good. Now let's get into a more personal level. You have 2 kids, right?
I do. I have a pair of twins, a boy and a girl.
Wow.
Arya and Luca. They just turned 4 years old last week, and I think they're my motor. They're the reason that I'm trying to become a better person of myself. I want to be an example for them. I want for them to look at me and be, you know what? Wow, this is my dad.
Yeah, yeah,
And I'm a strong believer that everything happens for a reason.
yeah,
I try to see the good things in the bad. And I don't like regretting anything in life. I think everything that happens in your life, whether it's something good or bad, even if it's a bad thing, that's a lesson.
yeah. A lesson to be learned.
Yes. Yes. So I was married and I got divorced and things just didn't work out like I expected. And it's been a challenge as well because no one goes into marriage thinking that you're going to get divorced.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
you try to do what's the best for you, for your partner, for your kids. And now that I have my kids, they live in Colombia, but I'm really have good faith that in the future they'll open their mind and see like the world that I'm living, and they will want to be a part of it. You know,
okay.
it's Mexico, Colombia, South America. Everything's so different from up here. Even from the U.S., things are so different from one country to another. So, yeah, and I'm really close to my kids. I FaceTime with them every day. Try to be there. I might not be there every day
Every
in
day in
person, but
person.
I try to be video call, phone call. Every couple of weeks, I'll send them like a Happy Meal from McDonald's, and they'll get so excited. You know, just it's I think it's about the little things as well. As long as you're there.
That's good. Um, I know you are no longer with your wife. What advice do you have for anyone who are currently in a relationship and things are not going according to plan? What advice would you give them I'm not saying leave or anything. What would you tell them to kind of like navigate what they are currently going through?
I think one of the things that happens when you're thinking about divorce, or one of the feelings that you get the most, it's fear.
Fear. Yeah.
It's like bungee jumping and not knowing what are you gonna feel, what to expect.
Yeah.
There is so many pieces, like a domino. There's so many pieces that fall, and those pieces might be friends, might be family. You lose a lot of people. People take sides, whether they know what happened or they don't. People judge. So I think it's it's about trying to be a better person of yourself. If you've made up your mind and you say, you know what, I want to get divorced, well, there's a process. You need to work on yourself. If there's no kids, well, you need to work on yourself. If there's kids, well, you need to work for yourself to be your better self for your kids. It's challenging. Same as becoming a parent. There's no manual for how to become a parent. There's advices, right, from our parents, because they went through all that. It's the same with a divorce. There's no manual, but that fear that I probably felt at the beginning, it's all here in your mind. It's it's not real. It's all here, because no one's dying. You're not gonna be the first or the last to get divorced, and life goes on. You just have to put a good face into all this. Keep your head up. Work on yourself. Work on your body, like exercise, like like read. It's a balance in your life to kind of overcome like a breakup.
Okay. You said something that's very interesting is the fear of not knowing what's going to happen. Most of the time, we are afraid of doing something. We know that whatever happens next will be better, or we already know the outcome of what happens next, but it's the in between that we are afraid of. So basically, we know if we get divorced, we will be by ourselves, but the process of getting divorced is what we are afraid of. The breaking away from each other, even though we know we're not compatible, right? We have differences that we cannot reconcile anymore, and it's time for us to move on. But sometimes we fear going through that process. For example, what are my in-laws gonna think? What are my parents gonna think? But after you get divorced, you are still their son, you are still their kid, and of course everything's gonna work out. But we are so afraid that sometimes we probably stick around longer than we should.
Yeah, and it's very different going through a divorce with kids and through a divorce that there's no kids. Because when there's kids, you're always going to be there. At least talking about myself, I'm always going to be there for my kids. I've seen divorces where they end up in really good terms, and I've seen where they just,
Yeah, the nastiest.
yeah. And I think that tells a lot about a person, how they overcome that. If they're resentful, if they play the victims, you know, it's I think it's something that you have to go through therapy. I'm still going through therapy. It helps me kind of calm me in some ways, because you have to be living with yourself again. You have to understand, why am I feeling this, and get some sort of tools that it's going to help you. Okay, you don't have to listen to this. This is all just your mind playing you tricks. Don't listen to that. What is real is your family, your kids, your job. You got to focus on your job. You got to focus on your health. And it's a process. It's a process that for some it might take a year, for some might take more years, and everyone deals with with a breakup in their own way. I've uh, I've had dark days, but I was never depending on alcohol or drugs, and I don't regret the way things happen. I'm a strong believer that everything happens for a
For a
reason,
reason, yeah.
and it's just the way, the good way to overcome things. It's just the matter of how you face it, right?
Yeah. And I notice you've gone through several different stages. You're not afraid of change. So not only you move here from Mexico to Canada, and you navigated career change, and then your relationship change as well. You handled that pretty well. One quick question. If you have the ability to go back in time or forward in time, what time period would you go to and why?
I think I would probably go when I was 8 or 9 years old.
Okay, tell me more.
I think at the time I was too innocent. I was a happy kid. I had a really good relationship with all my cousins. I had my grandparents. My parents were there for me. Um, and it probably didn't look like it, but I kind of felt like I always struggled with school. Even though I always got good grades, but for me school was always like a matter of like, it was hard. And I don't think I would change anything. Every little thing, whether it was good or bad, it kind of mold me. It builds your character, right? It made me who I am right now. Even even right now, I'm not the person who I was, let's say, 4 years ago. Not even 2 years ago. I I wouldn't change anything. I would probably relive some of the things, and if I could change, it would be some little tiny things. Um, but mostly, I was a happy child. I don't have any regrets of that. I was my parents. They're always been there. Tough love with my dad, and my mom. She's really sweet. Um, about last year, my dad had an episode with health related, and me going through my divorce and everything, he kind of was saying goodbye.
Wow.
He had some sort of bleeding from his nose, and it ended up being something with the high pressure, and he's overweight. And but he did say goodbye, and he said, "Take care of your mom. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of your brother. I love you both. And he went into a minor surgery. Everything went really good. And I think even with my divorce, that brought me closer to him.
Okay.
When I was growing up, my dad would be the kind of father saying, I'm not here to be your friend. I'm here to be your father. That's it. If you don't like it, there's a door.
Wow.
That was my dad. And he would be the way that so much discipline in a way that on a Friday night or a Saturday night, I had to be at home at 10 o'clock at night. That was until college.
Wow. Curfew.
Yeah. And the same. If you don't like it, the door's there and just leave. He kicked me out of my house twice.
Wow.
Yeah, one was because of my brother, and we both ended up going with my grandparents. And at the end of the night, he called us. It's like, "Okay, come back." And then a second time, he did it again. But yeah, he's got a really strong personality, kind of military,
Yeah.
like old school, you know. But yeah, I've gone to have a stronger relationship with my dad now, and every time, because I talk to him every day. When I say goodbye, he tells me I love you, and likewise, I always say to them like I love them. He always told me not to repeat the mistakes that he made with us,
Okay.
whether it was fighting with my mother, whether it was some sort of mistreating me or my brother as well, because we grew up in a different time when giving a slap or being hit with a
Yeah.
belt,
Yep.
it was normal, right?
It was normal.
Nowadays you cannot do that.
No, you can't.
and in a way it's something that I don't think I could do that to my kids. I believe that to go to that kind of behavior, you need to be kind of a bit crazy.
It's a different type of parenting.
It is where you have to have a lot of patience now, and you just can't be doing that in public now. And even kids, they'll be like, I'll tell the cops, I'll tell my
Yeah,
school
I'll call the
teachers,
cops. Yeah.
and you'll get in so much trouble. So times have changed for sure. But it was a lot of discipline with me and my brother, and I don't regret it. I think they made me the man who I am right now. And now that I have a daughter, it also kind of made me a bit softer. You know, I've never gone into a fight. I'm a guy who's against violence. I've never gone into a fight. And now that I have a daughter, it's like I can't picture myself like hitting with a belt or slapping my kids, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's different times, and it's adaptation as well. You know, I myself, I consider a person that adapts pretty good to change. Not everyone can adapt. But for me, I think it's been a way on adjusting myself to my different times and stages since the time I got here to Canada 2012.
So, what do you think about how you are able to adapt? What do you think makes you resilient enough to be able to adapt to the different changes in your life?
I think it was my father. My dad, he would never allow me make a mistake in this kind of way. If I was in my room with the fan ceiling on, and then I would just leave, and he would notice, it's like, why is the fan on? So, oh, I was there. Yeah, but you're not there. You didn't turn it off. Why? Oh, I forgot. Oh, you forgot.
Now you
So,
now
so he would be like, you think I can afford myself those type of mistakes when I'm with newborn babies? And I'm like, no. So that stress that he had, he kind of put it on us, my mom, my brother, and myself, in a way that we were always kind of making things like be kind of perfect. But once I leave my home, I knew everything that I had to do. When I was living with my parents, I had to lawn the lawn, like the garden,
yeah.
wash the cars, paint in the summers the house, clean, fix stuff. I would cook. We didn't have anyone helping at home, so I would have to cook. My brother as well. I knew how to broom. I knew how to mop. I knew how to iron my clothes. It was something that my dad and my mother make sure that if something happened to them, we both, me and my brother, we knew how to
Okay.
survive out there.
That's good.
So when I came here to Canada and I did my laundry, I cook, everything. I knew the basics.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that I regret is not being able to buy my own place
Mm-hmm.
when I got to Canada. I didn't have the information.
Mm-hmm.
When you're a foreigner, you don't know about
No,
like
you
taxes.
don't. Yeah.
You don't know about what do you need. And I spent so much money in luxury cars because I was doing good and I bought 3 or 4 different cars throughout the time that I'm like, if I could change one thing, it would be no cars, save, and give the down payment for a condo. That's something that yeah, that I would probably suggest anyone coming and being young. It's doing that. And I think the easiest way for anyone to come to Canada is studying something. And that's what I tell anyone. Oh, I want to go to Canada. Just come here and study something.
Yeah.
Whether it's English, whether it's a diploma or something, just come here and then slowly try to find your way and open different doors. I was really lucky when I came here. I got sponsored by this company, Vancouver Umbrella, when I was working at the Blends coffee shop. And they probably saw that I was like moving and everything, helping this and that. And when I got into the Vancouver Umbrella, they offered me a couple months after, hey, if you want to stay with us, we'll help you with the, we'll sponsor you.
Yeah, people take notice of your good deeds and your good habits.
So I took their word and I did it. And same when I was working at the construction, because I was doing some sort of painting at the Holiday Inn. I was working with some Latinos as well and Canadians. And I remember the guy, he saw me. I was cleaning like a popcorn ceiling. The popcorn ceiling is like, the ceiling's got like some sort of like popcorn. So
some texture.
Yeah. So the Holiday Inn wanted it to be like smooth.
Smooth, yeah.
So I was like using a tool and kind of
to chisel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the guy saw me and he's like, hey, Alex, come down here for a sec. And I was in the ladder just like scraping it. And he's like, just wanted to let you know that you're doing a great job. And I told you I was going to pay you $15 an hour. Now I'm going to pay you 18.
Wow.
And I said, oh, it's okay, man. I'm just doing what you told me. This is my job. He said, no. But I'm seeing what you're doing. And I'm seeing the other ones. The other ones he showed me, and they were just doing like cigarette breaks, coffee breaks. So when he left the room, and I got my eyes so watery that I wanted to cry, because in my mind it was, this was my dad. My dad was the kind of person that he would always say, just be the best. If you're gonna be a broomer, be
Yeah,
the
be
best
the best
broomer.
boomer.
You
Yeah.
know. So yeah, being in Canada made me mature a lot, and I was afraid of not making it, because I didn't want to go back home and be the one that's like, oh, he came back because he didn't
Yeah, he
make it.
came back.
And in a way, I felt that with my divorce, because at the time with my dad, I didn't feel the support. It was until after that he slowly kind of understood and everything. And I think support is really important.
Yeah.
I can't picture myself in the future if something similar happens to my son or to my daughter. I can't imagine myself not being there.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's I think it's parents' nature, right? Being there and trying for your kid not to suffer and be happy. But yeah, it's been an adventure for sure.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Quick question. What advice would you give to young immigrants coming up that who are afraid of change and embracing newness? It seems like your story is about basically being resilient and accepting change. What advice would you give to young immigrants regarding to being resilient and basically accepting the changes that come your way?
I think the most, it's working pretty hard. There's always some sort of feeling that you're doing the best and you're doing what you're supposed to, and at the end there's going to be some sort of price. People notice. People notice if you have initiative, if you're a problem solver, if you are willing to give like an extra. I think that's important. And for example, being lazy, being late, just don't paying attention on small little things. People notice as well.
Yeah.
If you're gonna be here, you want to come and you're gonna give it a try, I think you need to show people that your willingness, and that you want to work, that you got that hunger,
That hunger.
right?
Okay.
It's I think most, even for new businesses, the difference between a successful business and a failure one, it's that hungerness. Most of the businesses will succeed if there's people working hard for it. But if you open a restaurant and you open late, the food is just like average.
Average.
The prices are expensive. You get customers, but you don't really ask them like if everything was okay. Probably there's a chance that you're not gonna go back. But if I go to your restaurant and you're cleaning the tables, you're helping your staff, you're bringing plates to the table, you're asking me, hey, is there,
How's the food?
if you bring an extra dessert, if you give a little discount, I'm gonna come back to you because you're giving me an experience, and I'm seeing that you care. So nowadays, I think what makes a difference it's also like kind of caring about people, and it's something that with my almost 12 years of working in sales, I developed as well. I'm the guy who will go on the elevator and do like a small talk or compliment you if I see something that, oh, it looks really nice, you smell really nice. I'll do a small talk, but that's me. And it might brighten your day. Maybe you're having a tough day, and if I compliment you on, oh, you know what, that's a nice suit you got.
Yeah.
You're gonna feel, oh, thank you. It's gonna make you like a spark in your day. And I don't do it just to get anything out of it. It's just my way of acknowledging people and maybe making a difference, because it's the little things that make a
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah. It is. It is. Well, Alex, it was great having you on the show.
Thank you, my
It's
friend.
been a very interesting conversation, and I cannot wait to have you on the show again. So thank you so much for stopping by. And again, you are always welcome on the show. So I cannot wait to see what's next, because it seems like you always have some change going on that you are not afraid to take on.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the invite. And yeah, whenever we have a chance again to do a new podcast and talk about anything else, count me. I'll be here.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
And that's it for this episode of Above Status. Thank you for joining me on this incredible journey. I'm your host, Myford Mysing. Above Status is a Mysing Media production, and our theme music is by Steve D. Haiti. A major thank you to Dominic for helping make this show possible. If you enjoyed today's show, we'd love to hear from you. Please take a moment to leave us a written review wherever you are listening or watching, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or any other platform. Your feedback doesn't just help us grow. It helps more people discover these powerful immigrant stories and uplifting conversations. Don't forget to subscribe, share this episode with someone who needs to hear it, and follow us on social media at AboveStatus for more content. If you or anyone you know would like to share your story, we would love to have you on the podcast. Please send us a message at AboveStatus on your favorite social media platform. Come back next week for a brand new episode. Remember, no matter where you are or what challenges you face, to stay above status.